Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is going to be the trade recap for July the 13th, 7/13, 7/13. Happy Houston Day, right? So, we made an amazing trade today and Trump candle trade, I know, right? But the buys played out to our favor and I knew that I wanted to target these. So, let me show you guys why I wanted to target them. Well, first, this blue line right here was actually, you know what? I'm going to start from scratch. So, what did I want to mark out? I wanted to mark out some London lows, some London highs that I wanted to get hit. Well, there was a London kill zone low all the way down here, right? For price to trail in pre-market around this much and drop $6, to me, that's not really strong. To me, that's not something I'm looking to trade for. That is very volatile, very easy way for us to get hit with some daily decay. Instead, I saw this low right here on 15-minute time frame, so I was like, all right, yeah, cool. We can trade to that one. And in fact, London low right here. Okay. So we already had a bunch that we could trade off of. We ended up already hitting this during pre-market, but I wanted to see New York session retest that gap. And as well, if you guys notice, we have this imbalance gap right here. Before those candles took it out, we had an imbalance gap right here, but price traded really deeply into it during market open and pre-market. So to me, I didn't want to look for a retest to come back up, only because I used to like trading them. Now with my strategy, as it's kind of moving along, I see it as a way where you can't really take profits in that range. The only way I would look to take profits in that range is if I would want to target a fair value gap, but we all know that those are manipulation confluences, so that's really not that strong to target, right? That's like an easy way for us to get stopped out and fully get reversed on. So this was the trade that I took. One thing that was really helping my bias was we had this little downtrend right here on the 15-minute time frame. Unfortunately, on 15-minute time frame, this fair value gap got retested and broke. But at first, what ended up happening was this fair value gap got filled into it, started moving down, and during pre-market, when I saw that this fair value gap was here, I wanted that fair value gap to eventually close out of. In fact, we did not close out of that. So I headed over to the 5-minute time frame to look for any other confluences. So one thing that I saw was I saw this fair value gap laid on the 5-minute time frame. If this fair value gap was to get filled, I would look for a retest of that zone, right? If this fair value gap was getting filled, and I would look for the inversion. I wanted the inversion, but I will also point out we have a fair value gap right here. But what I'm really happy is we didn't even enter down here. We had the full possibility of entering down here because on 1-minute time frame, as you can see, we started breaking structure. We broke structure right there. We started trailing down a lot, right? So we could have eventually did that, but that's a 5-minute fair value gap. That's very risky for us. We got to stay patient as traders. Okay, so then that got filled and then we started moving up. So I was like really happy about that. And then I'll show you guys this. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five times that. That's already like 30 minutes. You're 30 minutes into market open, and so many traders were they taking shorts out of this move. Personally, we got to stay patient as responsible traders. So then we started trailing out of it, and here I was like, all right, let's look for some inspection. Let's enter in the fair value gap. But we inverse this gap, so it's trailing up. So I was like, all right, where's our retrace? Where's our retrace? Where's our pullback down? There's no pullback down. But one thing that helped my bias was, look, we have equal highs stacked up right here. So we made 5-minute equal highs, 5-minute equal highs, strong drawn liquidity to change trend. So that's technically our liquidity sweep to change trend to the downside. Okay. And then we started changing trend to the downside. What ended up happening was we hop over to the 1-minute time frame because that's a 5-minute manipulation. So I gotta look for a couple 1-minute confirmation confluences. Okay. We have these 1-minute inverse fair value gaps right here. These 1-minute fair value gaps got inversed. Okay, so that's 2 got inverse. That's already 2, right? And then what do we wait for? We wait for a form of break of structure. What do we get? We got a break of structure on the low. Now what do we got to wait for again? We got to wait for a retracement so we can enter 1-minute retracement. So we threw on the Fibonacci retracement tool because there's no fair value gaps lying in there. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take this trade at the equilibrium. So we started moving up past the equilibrium, got into the golden zone. So I entered in the trade there. Now, one thing I'll point out, let me remove these. We have a fair value gap stacked up, okay? So this trade was really risky. this honestly would have been a better entry. That fair value gap. If I, because we were already trading super down into here off the breaker structure, I was like, all right, where this breaker structure is going to cause some small manipulation, so we could enter right there immediately when we get that equilibrium. Okay, and I saw this little gap right here that we didn't close with the body, so I was like, all right, we can retest that zone and then we can come back down. But when it happening is we came in really close, but we set stop loss a little bit higher than this fair value gap. Oh, that's a long position. I'm so dumb. No wonder it was looking weird on my screen. Okay. Right, we enter here. We set the stop loss a little bit above the fair value gap right there on the Fibonacci, and then we just draw it all the way down to the take profits. This was a little bit harder to trade only because price action was not that steady. Price action was honestly really not steady today. But when we started trailing into it, literally 5 minutes after we placed that trade, boys, boom, Trump candle came out and we cleaned out the entire thing. I mean, in one candle, we fully swept all those draws on liquidity. I'll show you guys my P&L so you guys can see how we traded today. I'll show you guys the orders, our confirmed orders, and our profit. So look. So as you can see right here, we filled it today. So, hold on. We bought SPY for 62 cents today. If the camera will focus. We bought it for 62 cents and then we sold it for 1.33. So we immediately banged that over 100% profit. And to me, that was already crazy enough because the moment that Trump candle came out and we took in to take profits, one, I didn't have the order set already. I was waiting for it to come out. I honestly just wanted price to come in, fill this fair value gap, and then probably retest to inverse this one and then break structure and then just continue moving down. But that one candle absolutely glorious saved us. Was I expecting it? No, not at all. I was not expecting that big ass rush down, but we banged on the trade today. I'll go over one more time how we thought about the trade. One, we marked out our draws liquidity, which was the London lows, and then we had the respect of a 5-minute fair value gap, which caused 5-minute equal highs. So we eventually started respecting that, started trailing down. We had two inversion fair value gaps. We had the breaker structure to the downside, and then we had a retrace off the breaker structure to a fulfillment of a 1-minute fair value gap, and we got the 1-minute breaker structure up. So the 1-minute breaker structure up caused us to liquidity sweep to the downside. I know that might sound a little confusing, but I'll draw it out. See, like equal highs right here, and then we started trailing down. So equal highs, we started trailing down, inverse the fair value gaps, broke structure here so we can reverse. We started trailing up, broke structure here so we can reverse again. That reverse was also helped by fair value gap. So honestly, this would have been better entry down. We would have had more profits. And then boom, absolutely just banged the trade and it played out from there. Thank you for watching. Today was a quick video. I hope I see you in the next one. Tomorrow is going to be our last trading day on American times because we're traveling later this week. And I won't be back till like 20 days at my setup. So since we'll be out, we're probably not going to get any cooler. I'm probably not going to start pumping out videos as we would, but we're still going to edit them, all of them, and I'll make sure to publish as many as I can for every trade that I take. Stay tuned for the China vlog being uploaded. That was the main news. I need to figure out how to edit it for the rectangular body, landscape view, but overall, it should hopefully be uploaded by the end of the week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed something. Peace and love always. I'll catch you in the next one.